So I'm over here to tell you one of the most important aspects of the world, which is happening, which is even more dangerous than global warming. That is human reverse natural selection, which has happened, which has taken place since the World War One or since World War Two. Right, has gone further amplified the situation, which is very very dangerous, and which is further igniting. It is actually the root cause of global problems such as increase in difference between rich and poor class, or whether there is a increase in timeline based situation, or poor quality or standards of living, or people living in developed countries are getting less, and in poor countries or underdeveloped countries people are getting much more, and this situation has gone much worse since the World War II. You can say in many ways if you check out the actual statistics of the situation. Now here I'm going to say how actually this process has worked out, because see, actually in rich and poor class differences is there, that the poor class is generally having more and more children. That is, I can say even on the other side, rich child is having the rich class is having less children. That is almost one these days, and poor class is almost having 10 children for consideration, and it is happening in many countries. And whether this situation is seen that is in rich country, a rich person is having just one, and the other side, a poor country, is a poor person is having almost 10 children, and it is seen. And because of the improvements in medical medicine, it has further amplified. I don't say that medicine is bad, it has made things bad, but it has made all the has improved. But there's a not complete application, there's not completion of the situation is not being done, which is to be completed completely. That is, there need to be proper control over the human natural selection actually also. Now this thing is going to amplify. See how is these things are going to amplify. So now rich class is just going to have one children. When he is going to marry further to have next children, is in the next generation the resources are simply going to combine. That is another rich class, this rich class, the resources are going to increase to almost 2 times, which is further going to ignite just one children, double double double. On the other side, when you consider the poor class, sadly the situation with children all around, in the next generation, and the resources are going to split among 10 children, almost 10, which is a very dangerous number, already compressed poor class. And then he's going to marry. Then if we consider the marriage among in the poor country, poor woman, then the situation is going to even worse. Women or men, then situation is going to even get worse. That is, the resources are further from one generation are going to get split among 5 people. Almost they are going to split among 5 people. Already poor, they are already getting split among 5, and which is going to make situation even more worse than before. And this situation is over here is already fast. People in the poor countries are marrying very fast, very fast. They're having children very faster at much earlier ages than a rich class, who are having almost marrying at the age of 30 or 35. They're almost having at the age of 16 or 17 in very poor countries, and or 17, or somewhat I can say at early stages, maybe 27 or something like that. At the early ages they are marrying, and this is their generation system is getting even more faster since the World War II. And because of this, their population have tremendously suddenly increased, and the resources have so much shortened that today we are having worst one of the major crises of rich and poor classes. On the other side, rich classes getting combined. This is the actual root cause of the major blunder and the problem which is we are having now. I am going to tell you how this aspect is actually worked, because the people living in the underdeveloped countries have increased tremendously since World War II. On the other side, people living in developed countries have either the population remains stable, or the population have rather dropped, I can say. These countries which have rather provoked people living in underdeveloped countries are more than as compared to people living in developed countries. This percentage has increased since the World War II, which is creating very very serious trouble across the globe, whether this is the partial use of particle technology, which is for the increasing problem of global warming, or it is whether it is use of whether it is not a proper whether there's a timeline split. That is, the people living in 2009 19 based world, that is they have having technical equality equal to the 2019 year, are much less as compared to the people living in the 19th century or 18th century timeline. That is, they are having the technological aspects of the 19th or 18th century, or even the past, we can say. Because of this, there has been trolled. So I mean to say is that there must be, rather things must be reversed. The rich child must have more children, that is, the more resources will be mostly, I don't say resources, just resources, they will have more quality education, more quality life. Human quality life would tremendously improve on their side. If rich class, poor class will have less children, or even have, in some cases, more no children, then situation is going to completely lift up and completely change the human quality life. In just within few years is going to improve so much that you have no idea of these things. And think about this situation by just looking at the global map. Since World War II, the people would if we improve such situations now, the people would in future, the people in the rich countries are going to get more. Even if we consider inside, the people in the rich areas, even in some of the poor or middle class countries, are going to increase, which is further going to boost the economics in many ways, in many aspects. It is going to decrease the government pressure on the poor class, because sadly the poor class does not have much resources to fund that much amount of children, uh, and children. And if this aspect reverses, the government is going to have more funds to research, to do some research work, or some, or general upliftment of the economy in the underdeveloped countries. And from people from developed countries are going to enter the underdeveloped countries to make them more developed and more sustainable and well, and going to even increase the global growth rate to tremendously better aspects, even in the social aspect, I can say, and I'm sure about it. And as the technology improves, this is going to make us easy to expand in other areas such as space, and this is going to make aspect a much better world than what we are seeing today. That is, the things have gone much worse than what should have been the situation actually. And I think all the governments should combinedly act together with the help of United Nations. They should together act upon the situation and help the poor countries to tackle this problem in as much fast way, because this is not a problem, this is even more dangerous than global warming, which is happening, because it is a talk about human evolution. It does directly talk about major resource, and that is a central point of every situation, that is human, which is very important, very important to handle, I think. And I strongly feel that the act must be together all of the globe, and then we must actually need to change the general psyche of the human species, I can say human species. We need to change the general psyche from having more children in good conditions, rather than having less children in the adverse conditions, and having actually the things have timeline, technology have changed our timeline so much. Must have more children in the actually when we are having more resources, actually this aspect, our species are, I think, eligible to this kind of aspect now, and we must change the psyche which is happening, which must be changed, I think. And this will improve the tremendously, not only the social aspect, even more the general development as well as social aspect are going to tremendously will get improved. And we are going to actually increase our focus in other aspects such as research, or expanding our resources in beyond the space. And the things are going to concentrate in improving in getting the general human development, rather than in just uplifting the people, which could have been stopped under the general natural selection, which should have happened. And if you have another ideas, please send in the please write in the comment section. And if you are having problem with this video, please write in the comment section. And please share this video, because it is, I feel it is more dangerous. It has gone more, the situation has gone more dangerous than a global warming aspect, because it does not talk about anything resources. It is a talk about human itself. It is a talk about human resource, which are the most important resource in the world. If we are going to play with this resource, we are going to end up in deep trouble. And as we are getting in the deep trouble, there is an increase in immigration from poor countries to rich countries, which is further creating more and more chaos and more anger among the people. Rather, this situation should have aspect from rich countries to poor countries, which have countries which have made situation a much more better aspect than what we see the world today. And I'm serious about it.